everyone. I'm Big John, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Ability Show Live. This week, I want to talk about what to do at Disney when faced with inclement weather. Now, first of all, you should always check the weather for the time when you're at Disney so that you can dress accordingly, especially like during the summertime, because during the summer there's at least every day almost there is a tiny little thunderstorm. And or sometimes when you're going down and suddenly a hurricane warning comes up. Now, of course, like we discussed last week, during thunder, none of the outdoor rides will be working. So keep that in mind. Also, make sure you have a safe place to go when the weather takes a turn for the cruddy. So, like an indoor area in the parks or your hotel, anywhere to make sure that you're safe. And also, as we talked about last week, make sure you have raincoats and ponchos in your backpack, or in the case of my mother, almost 50 ponchos. So make sure that you're ready for when the weather takes a turn for the cruddy. So anyway, that's my tip. As always, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. And now it's time for this week's Top 5. So Disneyland has started their Sweetheart Nights for 2025. And with Valentine's Day coming up, love is definitely in the air. So this week, we're going to cover my top 5 romantic things at Disneyland. Number 5, the food. So this time of year, Disneyland and Walt Disney World have dished out their specialty themed Valentine's desserts. Like there's some really great cupcakes available, as well as some Valentine cookies and whatnot. And of course it's Valentine's Day season, so of course there's going to be plenty of chocolate. Number 4, cozying up on the dark rides. Now, the dark rides at Disneyland are very romantic for couples who are just there by them at the parks without the kids, just enjoying the park because It's a Small World is the closest thing to their tunnel of love, pretty much. That and Storybook Land canal boats. But hey, also getting a Coco ride in a few years, so. All right, number 3, posing for pictures in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. I don't know if that was just heart emojis or laughing emojis. But thanks anyway. As I was saying, so another great romantic thing that couples can do at Disneyland is pose for pictures. Your boy, What the Dog Doing? Hi, how you doing? If you're just tuning in, make sure you subscribe. And if you're just joining us, we are covering my top 5 romantic things at Disneyland. Number 3 is posing for photos in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. Of course, Sleeping Beauty Castle is, of course, the icon of Disneyland, and it's one of the most photographed places at the Disneyland Resort. And, of course, it's also one of the most Instagrammed places at the Disneyland Resort. And And of course, you got Disney PhotoPass photographers who will take your photo in front of there. We talk about PhotoPass all the time on the show. Well, thank you, Eat Your Boy with a Dog doing. Thank you. I appreciate that. And if you're joining, if you're watching, make sure you say hi and you like and subscribe. All right, number 2, Timothy Davis. Yeah, we do a lot. Well, yeah, romantic stuff at Walt Disney World is good too. I mean, posing in front of Cinderella Castle. Well, thank you, Pretty Girl Life. I appreciate that. And make sure you join in on the conversation. Anyway, number 2, the Sweetheart Nights. Now, these are specially ticketed events at Disneyland. I wish Walt Disney World had stuff like that, but besides the Halloween and Christmas parties and the after-hours Moonlight Magic for DVC members. But the Sweetheart Nights are great because it's Disneyland's way of celebrating Valentine's Day. I mean, you got very rare you got some great character couple meet and greets, like Hercules and Meg and other great couples, and special Valentine's cavalcades featuring some great Disney couples. And my number 1 romantic thing at Disneyland, the fairy tale weddings. Now, these are special weddings at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. I am lucky to say that I have seen some weddings take place while we were at the resorts. Like a couple years ago at Disneyland, at the courtyard of the Disneyland Hotel, they were setting up for a wedding that morning, which I think is awesome. And during our April trip in Florida last year, we've seen 5 weddings being done during that week. So if you do plan to get married at Disney, make sure it's memorable and that you have mucho dinero, pretty much. So anyway, let me know in the chat or in the comment and what you think is the most romantic thing at Disneyland. And now it is time for Diz or Dat. Now, on both coasts, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is already a fan favorite. At Disneyland, the logs are horizontally rowed, and the logs move too fast. I'm saying that because I'm just saying how we rode Splash Mountain for the very last time back in 2023 at Disneyland. And at the Magic Kingdom, the logs fit 2 people per row, and they move at just the right speed so you can get a good look at the scenes of the attraction. So anyway, let me know in the chat or in the comments which version of Tiana's you prefer, Diz, the Disneyland version, or Dat, the Walt Disney World version. And now it's trivia time. So last week, we asked, who serves as Pinocchio's conscience? The answer is Jiminy Cricket. Congratulations if you knew the answer. And now here is this week's trivia time question. Now, this is a super easy one this week. Who is Goofy's son? Be the first one in the chat or in the comments with the correct answer, and you will receive 100 cool points. And remember, if someone reaches 1,000 cool points, they become a mod. Now, so Disney has announced that the former building for the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser will be turned into office space for Walt Disney Imagineering. I like this, but at the same time, I don't like this. Now, let me explain why. First of all, when the Galactic Star Cruiser are closed, Josh D'Amaro promised that there will be a different way to provide this experience. Now, but I like that it's turning into space because with all the Imagineers that Disney has, there's going to be some big ideas in the works, and they're going to have to come up with amazing ideas to top everything that we've heard at D23. Of course, the imagination is the most important tool that Imagineers have. Timothy Davis, that is absolutely right. It is Max. You get 100 cool points. But also, I don't like the idea because, like I said, D'Amaro promised that there would be better experiences for it. But here's the thing. The Galactic Star Cruiser costed, like I mentioned earlier, mucho dinero. It costed like what, $900 a night for this 2-night experience? What about Fantasia? It's an okay movie. But back to the Galactic Star Cruiser. So yeah, I think turning it into Imagineering offices is the right way to go because there's not a lot of Imagineering offices in Florida as there are in California. So this is probably needed for Florida, especially Imagineers who live close to Walt Disney World. So anyway, that's our show. As I said, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode for this week's shout-outs. Make sure you guys check out Matt and Goo over at Goo to You, and also their new vlogging channel called the Matt and Goo Review. Well, Timothy, I think Disney owns Deadpool because Deadpool is Marvel. I think that's the main reason. As I was saying, also make sure you guys check out Nate, a.k.a. Paging Mr. Morrow. He does great vlogs from the parks all the time. Definitely check him out as well. Also, make sure you guys check out Maria over at LBV TV. She does great vlogs and live streams from the parks as well. Definitely check her out. Also, make sure you guys check out my friend Tamia over at Tamia Smiles. She does great vlogs from the parks on both her YouTube and her Instagram. Definitely check her out. If you have not subscribed here yet to the Big John Network, what in the Walt Disney World are you waiting for? And ding the bell for notifications so you never miss a second of the fun. And until next time, Kwaherini.